At age 16, I had my first abortion. Within a year, I was back in the same abortion clinic with my second abortion. I believed the lies. I believed that it was a mass of cells, that it was a woman's choice, that it was a procedure instead of a pregnancy. You think about, how do you deal with something like that? You deny it. You repress it. I said I was the master of disguise, because you really just try your best not even to admit it to yourself, much less to anybody else. And that denial went on for decades. I was able to have 2 pregnancies, but because of my abortions, I had an incompetent cervix. My body really tried to miscarry from the beginning of my pregnancies. Once I got past the 12 weeks, I was able to have a cerclage, sewed my cervix shut, and had to be on bed rest for 6 months with both of my pregnancies, but I was able to deliver both of them, even though premature. So I was blessed in that aspect. A lot of women who have abortions are never able to conceive, much less ever able to carry those babies to full pregnancies. As part of my becoming a Christian and being healing, God had placed on my heart that I needed to get involved in the Gainesville Care Center, and that meant being honest with my children, being honest with my family members, which was very, very difficult to do. The last thing you want to tell your teenage children is that you've been sexually active and that you yourself were a murderer by having 2 abortions. But that was part of the healing, and as being part of the Gainesville Care Center, I went through the course Forgiven and Set Free. And y'all, that's a 10-week Bible class that is awesome, because you deny, you repress, you try to pretend that none of that has happened. And little bit, by seeking God and by shining the light of Christ on that, to me it was like peeling an onion, layer by layer by layer. And, to me it was just an awesome way to be intimate with God, to feel what He had to say on the subject, that He expected us to have sins like that. And I thought, I've got a stronghold in my life, and it's not current sin, it's unforgiveness of my past sin. I knew God had forgiven me, but I could not forgive myself.
The thing I think that I noticed about her is that she had not accepted God's forgiveness. She knew intellectually that we have a loving, forgiving God, and she knew that the Bible teaches that He forgives all of our sin, no matter what it is. When we confess it, He's faithful and just to forgive us. But she had not been able to actually accept that and live that out. And as you know, until we can actually fully accept God's forgiveness and come to a place of healing, we are not able to serve Him to our fullest potential.
I will tell you, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. No doubt about that, because, you're good at sweeping it under the rug, pretending it's not happened. Suddenly you're opening it up and shining the light of Christ on it. And you're beginning to admit feelings that you yourself had really tried to deny that you were even experiencing. So it's one of those things, I think so many of us in the community, so many of us in church really need to be honest with one another, and that to seek a place like Gainesville Care Center to help go through a program like Forgiven and Set Free. It has really convicted me, myself, to be able to bring that program to other people so they can relinquish themselves from that stronghold of sin, unforgiveness. Because it's, Jesus came, He died for us. He died for all of us. All of the sins are the same, regardless of what it is. But being out, being bold, helping to honor our unborn children, and then also trying to prevent other abortions from occurring. And that's why you need to be a part of Gainesville Care Center. Every dollar you donate is beneficial. It goes to great programs like this that can really help a woman and a man turn around and be honest with themselves, their children, and the community.